Good evening and welcome, folks. Thank you very much for joining the Geelong Region Soccer Show. It's our 16th episode this year, believe it or not. 141 in total and still going strong. My name's Tonchi Prusak and I'm going to be your host for the next 60 or so minutes or thereabouts. We've got a big show lined up tonight. It was, yes, the halfway mark of the season over the weekend. And for a lot of the leagues, a lot of the state league men's, the VPLW women's as well, it was a catch-up round. So it was a chance to take a bit of a mid-season break, catch your breath, and maybe reassess as well what needs to be done over the course of the coming 3 months or so. And as a result, tonight we are going to catch up with two clubs, the Geelong Soccer Club and the Bell Park Sports Club. The Geelong Soccer Club will be catching up with their captain, RORY McKEOWN. And just before the break last weekend, Geelong really started hitting its straps in the State League One men's competition. And we'll be speaking to Rory tonight ahead of what is a crucial game against the second-place Westgate this weekend. They're only 2 points behind Westgate, and a win will catapult the Lions firmly into a promotion spot. Obviously, there's a long way to go before the end of the season. As I said, we're only at the halfway mark. Also, what's the latest with Bell Park finding a new senior men's coach after Michael Spazewski departed a week ago? Well, we'll find out from their president, ROSE PIRROTTINA, what's the latest news there and all the news that's happening at the Bell Park Sports Club. They might be struggling as far as their senior men's in the state league competition is concerned. But I'll tell you what, as far as their senior men's and senior women's in the Geelong region competition are concerned, it's a completely different story, and we'll find out a little bit later on about all of that. There was still some football over the weekend. North Geelong took part in a VPL 1 game against table toppers Melbourne Victory, and they came very close to taking points off the competition leaders. And there's quite a fair bit of news concerned regarding that, and so we'll go into that a little bit later on as well. A lot to get through tonight, folks. So without further ado, we're going to take a very short break and have a couple of messages from our major sponsor, the Gordon. After that, it is time for the news desk.
Your future is in your hands. There is a whole world waiting for you, and your choices determine how you will impact it. At the Gordon, we recognise this. That's why we champion hands-on learning. Get your hands dirty. Grab what's in front of you. Learn by doing. Turn your passion, your ideas, and mould them into your creations. You'll be supported the entire way. You'll grow your skills in small classes, guided by teachers who are industry experts. You'll learn in state-of-the-art facilities or out in a real-world workplace setting. Your hands-on experience will increase your understanding and put you ahead of your university peers. You'll graduate work-ready, and you'll graduate sooner, with a huge range of qualifications to choose from and support services to enable your success. Now is the time to continue your learning journey. At the Gordon, your future is in your hands.
Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. A big shout out to Santino Mamone. He's gone to Queensland up in Cairns and he's still tuning in. Well done. Where are you tuning in from? Pop it in the comment section. We'd love to know where you're coming in, where you're tuning in from all around the world. No doubt there may be some people at the Euro Championships as well. It'll be about 10 o'clock thereabouts. In European time, so it's perfect, just after a late breakfast, tuning into the Geelong Region Soccer Show. And if you are by any chance in the comments section, tell us what you're up to. Tell us where you are right at the moment. Alrighty, let's get on with what we usually do is the media watch. So look, it's been a good week. A lot's been happening as far as local football in the local media is concerned. There we go. We had it in the Friday edition. Belief is an absolute winner as Arntez Lions roar impressively. So the Geelong Soccer Club will go into this weekend's State League 1 mid-season break, buoyed by last week's sensational performance that saw the Lions defeat the previously unbeaten Whittlesea United 5-3. Well, we'll be speaking to the captain of the Lions, RORY McKEOWN, just a little bit later on, and he'll give us all the latest information, all the latest details, and all the latest, the atmosphere from within the Lions' den. On Saturday, it was tidal joy for Geelong as boys prevail in penalty shootout. The Geelong Under-12 boys rep team returned home from last week's Victorian Junior Country Championships in Mildura with the first place finish. A photo there provided by Rebecca Horrocks from Soccer Shots Photography, and that was in Saturday's edition of the Geelong Advertiser. In today's edition of the Geelong Advertiser, Warriors let chances slip against ladder leaders. An undermanned North Geelong Warriors, they did very, very well, but unfortunately weren't able to come out with any points, anything to show for their effort, for their hard effort, losing to Melbourne Victory 3-2 at Alco Park on Saturday. The Surf Coast Times online edition features a story about Kyla Cooney-Cross, the Matilda, to feature as Clinic's special guest. Yes, you heard it correctly. This Wednesday at Banyulwarri Fields in Torquay, Kyla Cooney-Cross will be a special guest coach at the Curva Coaching Geelong Clinic from 4:30 p.m. till 7:30 p.m. The clinic run by Adrian Leia, a former Socceroo himself, and who currently lives down on the Surf Coast. That's fantastic news, and it is a sellout. I'm told it sold out within hours. So it didn't take long for the good news to spread around, that's for sure. And that was very, very quickly, sold out. So it's great to see the Geelong footballing public, and in particular parents of young girls, snapping up an offer like that. That's great to see. There is a lot of clinics happening up over the school holiday period. Curva Coaching Geelong, Lustica Football Stars as well, having a Football Stars Academy as well, are having a clinic over the school holidays. So there's so much going on over the upcoming school holidays. Parents, don't get your kids staying home and watching YouTube for 3, 4, 5 hours or getting on the Xbox and PlayStations. Get them out there. Get them enjoying the great outdoors. Alrighty, let's turn our attention now to on-field action that happened over the weekend just gone by. There wasn't much happening, but we've got a little bit of video footage here from the North Geelong Melbourne Victory game, courtesy of Ricky Sports from Melbourne. It was round 18 clash at Alco Park. And then undermanned North Geelong Warriors fought doggedly to give competition leaders Melbourne Victory an almighty scare before ultimately going down 2-3 in a VPL1 thriller at Alco Park on Saturday. The Warriors went into the round 18 clash with Victory -3 standing first team players. Teenage defender Raymond Dika was away on international duties with Papua New Guinea, while key infielders Anthony Leban and Castian Angel were both injured. Returning to the starting 11, however, was centre-back Anthony Barnabas, who has not played more than 20 minutes over the past 2 months due to an ongoing battle with osteitis pubis. After the Victory took an early lead in the 7th minute, the Warriors equalised through live wire attacker Salou Jallo in the 29th minute, as you can see on screen now. Unfortunately, just 2 minutes before the interval, the visitors found the back of the net to level 2-1 at the break. Parity was restored in the 49th minute, however, when wingback George Ellis managed to find the equaliser for the home side. This was a contentious issue. It seemed to, it was eventually ruled that the ball was offside, but it wasn't actually the case of offside because it came in from a throw-in. Now, supposedly the linesman here has claimed that it did come off a player, a North Geelong player, whereas the North Geelong players and coach Stuart Begg were adamant that the ball did not come off a player. So, a bit of controversy there. In the end, it was ruled offside, and what seemed like a legitimate goal was deemed to have been offside. The competition leaders nevertheless hit the back of the net for a third time in the 70th minute and managed to hang on despite some late attacking flurries from the gallant Warriors. After the game, the disappointed North Geelong coach Stuart Begg couldn't believe his Warriors hadn't emerged from the contest with the table toppers with at least a point. It was a game we should have got something from, lamented Begg. What can I say? 2 goals disallowed for poor refereeing decisions and also some poor finishing. I'm really disappointed we did not get something out of the game, he continued. After a slow start, we were the better side for most of the game. The boys did not give up and they fought right to the very end. With second last place, Werribee City defeating mid-table outfit Brunswick City 2-1 on Friday night, the gap between the bottom place Warriors and Werribee has now been extended to 5 points. Next Sunday, North Geelong will face second place Western United in a daunting round 19 away clash at Ironbark's Field. And there we go. Cleared off the line. There were opportunities towards the end, and that, for example, was a gilt-edged opportunity that the young Warriors missed. And that was Spanish striker Sergio. As we can see, Warriors the victory now, scoring the all-important or all-decisive goal in the 70th minute there. All right, if we have a look at the results of that game, put it up on the screen. So 2-3, the Warriors lost to Melbourne Victory this Sunday, round 19. Very important clash, but it's going to be a tough one. They come up against Western United, who are currently in second position, and that's going to be at Ironbark Fields at 3 p.m. Now, the Victorian Premier League Women's, they took a break this week. So that result is from last week, a round 10 result when Geelong Galaxy went down to the Noble Hurricanes 4-3. This Sunday, the Galaxy travels to the home of the Matildas. It's a bit of a glamorous away trip where they'll take on 4th place Banyule City. Geelong Galaxy currently in 8th position. That game kicks off at the same time as the Western United North Geelong game at 3 p.m. and it's a round 11 fixture. Now, there was one game in the Women's State League, and once again, it involved the North Geelong Warriors. The Warriors hosted Mill Park at Alco Park, and Welser was the only scorer there for Liesl Welser, I think her name is Liesl, for North Geelong Warriors. It wasn't enough as Mill Park came away from Alco Park with a 2-1 win. On Sunday in round 10 action, 7th placed North Geelong hosts 3rd place Clifton Hill at Alco Park. That game kicks off at 3 p.m. Now, the Geelong Rangers, they had a bye in State League 2, so they will now be in action this weekend when they host the 4th placed Altona City. Geelong Rangers also in 7th, just like North Geelong, and that game at Myers Reserve kicks off at 1 p.m. So, unfortunately, all the Geelong teams seem to be struggling this year, bar Surf Coast in State 4 and Lara and Deakin in State 5. But certainly, we'll get to those games involving those 3 teams. But as far as the Men's State League competition, which resumes this weekend, the first game of the second half of the season, round 12 fixtures, sees in State League 1, Upfield, who are in 11th position, hosting our own Corio, who are in 10th. That game at Gibb Reserve kicks off at 3 p.m. Well, when they say it's a 6-pointer, this is indeed a 6-pointer. Corio desperately needs a win here, and should Upfield defeat Corio, well, Corio will be plunged into that relegation zone where no team wants to be in. So a big important game for Corio. Let's hope the Eagles can get up and come back to Hume Reserve with 3 points. Meanwhile, at Ardea Reserve later that evening, 5th place Geelong, buoyed by the performance in recent weeks, they will be coming up against second-placed Westgate. If they defeat Westgate, they'll certainly move a step closer to the promotion zone, which will be absolutely fantastic. In State League 2, Uni Hill Eagles, who are currently in 8th, they host Geelong Rangers, who are in 11th position. This game's at Findon Reserve, and it's a 3 p.m. kickoff. Now, the Geelong Rangers, they won their first game against Uni Hill Eagles in round 1, and they also won their last game in round 11 against the Hoppers Crossing side. It's their only 2 wins this season, so this is a crucial game for Geelong Rangers at Findon Reserve. They will certainly be hoping to take all 3 points for the second time this year against the Eagles. In State League 4 action, Bell Park come up against Moonee Ponds United at Bell Park Sports Club. Bell Park currently in second last position. They're taking on the 6th place Moonee Ponds. And we'll find out a bit later on what is happening with regards to their coach. Mike Spazewski did depart last week. And, from all accounts, Bell Park are still searching for a senior coach. So they may be forced into appointing an interim coach from within the club for this weekend's game against Moonee Ponds United. West Point, they're in 9th position, and they'll be hosting our Barwon in 8th. The corresponding fixture in round 1, Barwon defeated West Point 2-0, I believe, from memory. Barwon will be hoping to do the very much the same in this game at Webster Street Reserve. Game kicks off at 3 p.m. Balmoral, they host Surf Coast at Balmoral Park, 5:30 p.m. kickoff. Now, it might be a case of 5th versus 1st, but believe you me, this is going to be a tough game, that's for sure, because Balmoral have picked up quite a few players in recent weeks, and they certainly are going to be a very, very tough side, certainly a different side than the team that came up against Surf Coast in the opening round at Banyulwarri Reserve. Finally, we've got in State League 5 action, Tarneit United in 11th position. They host 9th placed Ocean Grove. That game at Hummingbird Boulevard Reserve. It's a mouthful, isn't it? Kicks off at 3 p.m. And then Wyndham taking on Deakin Ducks. That game at Wyndham Vale. That's at 3 p.m. 5th versus 2nd. And then Lara United has a bye. And that brings us to the end of the State League. We're going to take a very, very short break. When we return, we're going to look at the local league because there was a full round of matches played in the Geelong Region community leagues. So we'll have a look at the men's Division 1 and the women's Division 1 competitions. Don't go away, folks. It is the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. And it looks like we've got our first guest, RORY McKEOWN. He's in the green room. He's getting ready for that. So we should have him on very, very shortly, the captain of the Geelong Soccer Club. In the meantime, let's have a look at what's happened in the local competition. First of all, to the Geelong Region Men's Division 1 competition. Games played over the weekend. Lara United defeated Geelong Rangers 3-0 on Friday night. Also on Friday night, Bell Park had a big 5-0 win over Breakwater Eagles. And another game on Friday night saw Barwon defeat Geelong Soccer Club 6-0. So 3 big wins there, all on Friday night. On the Sunday, Surf Coast hosted last year's grand finalists Armstrong United, and it was the visitors that came away with a 2-0 win. As we can see, the ladder there, after 4 rounds, Bell Park on top with 10 points. They are undefeated, 3 wins and 1 draw. Lara United in second spot. Surf Coast currently in third position, but they too are undefeated with 2 wins and 1 draw. And they've got an outstanding game against Armstrong United, who've got a 2 wins and 1 loss record. Coming up next week on Friday night, we've got another Friday night game, and what a game that's going to be. At Lara Recreation Reserve, Lara United hosts Geelong, and then 3 games on Sunday. Breakwater Eagles at home to Surf Coast, Armstrong United hosts Barwon, and then Geelong Rangers at home to Bell Park. The Breakwater Eagles game at Howard Glover Reserve against Surf Coast kicks off at 1 p.m. The other 2, Armstrong United and Barwon, and Geelong Rangers and Bell Park, they kick off at 3 p.m. Turning our attention now to Geelong Region Division 1 women's competition, and Bell Park also sitting very, very nicely on top of the competition standings, 4 wins and 4 wins from 4 games. On the weekend, on Saturday, all the games were played on Saturday. Bell Park defeated Deakin University 3-1. Lara United defeated Corio Bay at Evans Reserve 7-2. Then we had Ocean Grove hosting FC Leopold at Shell Road Reserve, a 3-0 win for Ocean Grove. And Surf Coast hosted Barwon, and it was the visitors this time defeating Surf Coast 3-1 at Banyule Warrior Reserve. That sees Bell Park on top with 12 points, followed by Barwon on 9. Deakin also on 9. Lara United on 6 points, making up the top 4. And then just outside, Ocean Grove, Surf Coast, FC Leopold, and Corio Bay with 4 losses from 4 games. This weekend, we've got FC Leopold at home to Barwon, Corio Bay hosting Surf Coast, Bell Park at home to Ocean Grove, and Lara United hosting Deakin University. That's the round 5 fixtures for this weekend. Okay, well, what else have we got as far as local news? Well, speaking of Lara, this week Lara has got their first. It's their 25th anniversary celebrations this Saturday. I did say they have a bye. They don't have a bye. They're coming up against Ballarat Soccer Club. That's this Saturday. So all the action kicks off, from 1 o'clock with the State League Men Reserves starting the day's proceedings, the seniors at 3 p.m. And then the Division 1 women, when they take on Deakin Ducks, that game will be at 5:15 p.m. So that's going to be a full day's activity, full day's celebration there as well. Apart from that, we've also got, a coaching course that is coming up in July. So if you're looking at starting your coaching, I guess, or if you started your coaching career, so to speak, the Foundation of Football course, which will be held on Sunday, the 14th of July, at the Sebastopol Vikings Football Club in Ballarat. That is an all-day event from 9 o'clock till 5 o'clock. Costs $100 per coach. It's aimed at the volunteer parents and coaches working with beginner players to competent level players of varying age groups. And if you wanted to do the C Diploma course, you will have to do this as a prerequisite. Would you like more information? Because there are only a few limited spots available. But for more information, go to www.footballgeelong.com. www.footballgeelong.com. Hopefully we will have, straight after this short break, we're going to have our first guest, and it is RORY McKEOWN, the captain of the Geelong Soccer Club. Don't go away, folks. It is the Geelong Region Soccer Show.
The world is yours. So work hard, and you can have whatever it is you want.
Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Pino Mutzer corrects me. Bell Park Women's play Saturday at 5 p.m. after the men's game. Thank you very much, Pino. Yep. And we will have someone from Bell Park coming up very, very shortly. ROSE PIRROTTINA, the president, hopefully will join us very shortly. But before that, we've got it's my absolute pleasure to welcome to the show a very, very special guest. First time that on the Geelong Region Soccer Show, and it is going to be the captain of the Geelong Soccer Club, RORY McKEOWN. Rory, good evening and welcome to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Thanks very much for having me. Hopefully you've got a translator available, so try and help you out a little bit.
we might have to have some subtitles there. Yeah, how are you, mate? How's things? First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself for those that don't know, because this is your first year at Stead Park. And how did it come about that you ended up at Stead Park playing in the red and black?
That's a long story, that one. One of the people involved at Geelong, Steve Janoski.
Yeah, good old Gino.
Yeah, good old Gino. For those who know Gino, yeah. When I was playing in New Zealand, one of my teammates used to play for Geelong, and Steve, doing what Steve does, got in touch with him and built up the network. And me and Steve have actually been in touch for, I'd say, nearly 5 years, talking back and forth. Whether or not he was working his magic, I don't know, but he would send me happy birthday texts even when I was playing back in the UK. And whenever we finally decided, me and my partner decided to move to Australia, I was only ever going to end up in one place because Gino had built up that network. So moved out here in March and straight away in with Geelong.
Oh, that's fantastic. How are you finding Geelong?
What, the town or the football club? Both.
Both, I suppose.
I'm loving it so far. I genuinely am loving it so far. I'm from Ireland and I've lived in New Zealand, and it reminds me a little bit of home. You've got the sea here, you've got the greenery around, and it feels like home. It's nice.
Yeah, wait till summer hits, and then everything from that's green is going to turn yellow and brown.
Everyone keeps telling me this is winter, but I can assure you this is summer back in Ireland. So I'm enjoying this right now.
Is that right? Well, mate, as far as as we start to get towards summer, we've now we're in the middle of winter and it's damn cold. I tell you what, I'm sure it's going to warm up in the next few months. But over the next few months, it's certainly going to get very, very exciting if the current form at Stead Park continues. And you guys have been really, really in red hot in recent weeks. So much so, 2 weeks ago, you defeated the previously undefeated Whittlesea United. Tell us about that. That was a 5-3 win. What a game that was.
Oh, it was a great game. Funnily enough, if you'd watched the first 10 minutes of it, you wouldn't have considered what was going to happen. We didn't start off great, but at the same time, we also had a feeling that our team's very capable of doing things like that. We moved the ball well, and I just think we got into a bit of a rhythm. We got one back, went in 2-1 down at half time, and then the 15 minutes after half time are something that I haven't seen for a long time, and I've been playing football for a while. Every time we went forward, we scored. Young Giovanni Colosi, he got a hat-trick for us that day. Dennis got one. And to be honest with you, the chances that we created, it could have been 6 or 7. And it was just one of those days that everything went right for us and it didn't go right for them. And listen, if they were undefeated, that doesn't exist anymore, so it's not my problem.
Yeah. Alexander Stojanovski scored a goal. Dennis Deluri also scored a goal, and Giovanni Colosi scored a hat-trick. But I guess one thing that did go wrong was Dennis ended up getting 2 yellow cards. So he's going to miss this week's game against Westgate. How much of a handicap is that going to be?
Yeah, Dennis is going to be a big miss. First, of course, he's played at good levels. He offers something that teams try and sign. He's got pace, he's strong, he's good in the air, and he's a reliable. You know what you're going to get from Dennis, and it's as simple as that. It's going to be a miss, and I can assure you, as captain, I've had a few words with him in the 2 weeks since. He got sent off for something that he shouldn't have been sent off for, I thought, and yeah, I've said my piece to him, and I'll keep it between me and Dennis.
Yeah. Now the good news is, or I don't know if it's a good news thing or good news or bad news, but Westgate actually lost their last game to Ballarat City 3-2 away. Is it going to be a good thing or a bad thing? Catching them now on the rebound, so to speak.
Listen, at the end of the day, we're going to still have to go out and play the way we're going to play. We can't concern ourselves too much with other teams, and the form that they're coming in with. We know that we know what we're about to bring, and that's kind of what we're focusing on at the minute. We're not really setting up to worry about other teams. We're more concerned about what we're going to bring in our gameplay and our style of play, and that's kind of our biggest focus. Listen, if results are results, as you've seen in this league, anyone can beat anyone on their day, but we're just going to keep focusing on doing the things that we do, and that's the results have been coming for us recently, so I don't see any point in changing it.
Yeah. Now I'll pop the ladder up again, so we'll just have a quick look at that ladder there, and it makes for interesting reading, isn't it? At the halfway mark of the season, it was a little bit of a slow start for Geelong, but now you seem to be doing really, really well. There's 3 teams there, all on 19: Westgate, Ballarat City, and Brimbank Stallions. So as you say, anyone can beat anyone on a given day, and Whittlesea United, they were almost runaway leaders, but you managed to put a halt to that. And now you come up against Westgate, and there is a Geelong connection there. Obviously, their former Karaya and our former Barn player, Vedran Stojanovic, is there. So it is going to be a tough game, this, but especially coming against them on their home turf. But look, speaking to Ante Mordic, your coach, he's been saying the boys have been doing really well. It's starting to come together. Sometimes in recent weeks, or in recent months, I guess the results weren't coming, but now they finally seem to be coming. Everything seems to be clicking at the right time. Is that how you kind of see the situation at the moment?
Yeah, well, I came into the squad probably around, I think it was, and I'd previously been injured, and as I said, relocated across. And the thing that I noticed very quickly was we were quite a young squad.
Yep.
The things that we did, sometimes it came across as a little bit naive, doing maybe what you would call the dirtier side of the game, game management, little smart things that you would normally kind of see from experienced players. And it's been, myself and Ante have actually been trying to almost introduce that at training. A little bit more of communication, a little bit more of, some if you need to take the team. As I said, we've got BMS, but he's an experienced. We've brought in that bit of experience, and myself, and I think we're slowly starting. We've got has been, that's no question we can play. It's maybe just the side of things, that being a little bit smarter with how we're playing, and so far it's been winning out for us in the last couple of weeks. The results have been showing that. Yeah.
Now, you're a bit of a utility, you tell me off there. You play in a whole heap of different positions, but you've been mainly used as a centre-back. And I guess with your experience, with your maturity, I guess, compared to a lot of the other boys, it's a great position for you as team captain to be in, where you're able to really kind of direct things, see what's happening up the field. And you've obviously come up against Karaya and probably seen a few of the other Geelong teams. But what is it? Is it a mentality thing at the moment that a lot of the Geelong teams are struggling with? And I've spoken to a lot of people where we say it just seems to be with a lot of the younger players, the results seem to be struggling. Like the game, everything seems to be fitting well as far as the game and the way you're playing. It's just the results aren't coming. As we said, for the Lions, it's clicking, which is good, and hopefully we can continue this. But what do you think? What do you put it down to? Is it a mentality thing with young players, where they lack that consistency, or should I say, the consistency is the end product? How do you see it?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. With younger players, myself when I was a younger player, you could have maybe 3 great games, and then all of a sudden you're out of form. 2, you have 2 bad games and it knocks you. And it is maybe a confidence thing with younger players. And that's why you have the experienced players in there to kind of remind them, it was just a mistake. It's not a bad game.
Yep.
Just consistency is a tough thing to get. We'll all be playing in the A-League or we'll be playing in the Premier League. The talent's not a question. The players are good. It's just performing it every week, and it's about training the right way. It's about doing the right things, and sometimes you need that little bit of experience around you. And I think something that has been brought into Arsenal.
Well, we're having a little bit of it seems technical issues. There seems to be some little bad reception from your end, Rory. We'll push through it. Hopefully, it rectifies itself. You there? Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's better.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. That's here. Okay. Look, what's the run like after this week's game? Obviously, Westgate's a tough one away. How are things then looking after that over the next few weeks?
It's going to be a tough. Said on 19 points. I saw there, and we would have considered ourselves to had, I don't know, not a great start to the season, but after beating Whittlesea off the top of the ladder, so it just shows you that anyone can beat anyone, and if you string 4 or 5 good results together over that, you could very possibly be in those promotion spots, and it's just about that key word, consistency. And if you get that consistency going, I think we could be there or thereabouts towards the end of the season, pushing for promotion.
Well, if you have a look at Sydenham Park, and there, I think that your opponent in round 13 in 2 weeks' time, and that's a home game. Sydenham Park was one of the heavyweights and certainly one of the title favourites early in the season, but they're in 6th position. But they're only 16 points, so they're only 3 points off second place. So it's fast becoming a very, very close and a very intriguing division.
Yeah.
And as we know, everyone wants to get out of State League 1 and into VPL 2. So are you expecting a lot of the Melbourne teams in particular to have gone pretty nuts as far as recruiting players now in this now that the transfer window has opened with regards to some of the higher divisions?
Yeah, well, definitely. I mean, that's one of the unfortunate things, and now the transfer window's opening. Some of the teams from the VPL and the NPL will probably be, cherry picking some of the best players from the likes of your State 1s and State 2s. So if you're pushing for those promotion spots, it's going to be tough to hold on to the good players. So that's going to be another challenge that's thrown into the mix over the next couple of weeks.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing for the Geelong sides? Like, for example, Geelong, does that mean your squad's pretty settled, or if some of these clubs come sort of knocking on Geelong's door as well as other teams?
It could well be. I don't know. Honestly, hand on heart, I wouldn't even know if there has been players being spoken to. I'm sure there has. I mean, Melbourne's not a big.
Yeah.
It's not very hard. I'm sure no one's come to my. I haven't heard anything as of yet. But listen,
let's hope they don't. They can stay away.
If players are performing, it's part of football. It's only natural that teams from higher up will come knocking, and it's understandable. And at the end of the day, if they come in and they offer a bit of money for a contract for the player, then it's hard to turn down at the end of the day. So you can't begrudge a player a move, but hopefully they don't touch our one because we want to get promoted.
Yeah. Mate, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. I know you've got a little one. You're probably itching to put him to bed, so we'll let you go. But we wish you all the very best for Saturday's big game against Westgate. Saturday week against Sydenham Park at home. 2 massive, massive games coming up over the next 2 weeks, and indeed for the rest of the season as well.
Thanks for having me on.
Good on you, Rory McKEOwn. What a legend of a bloke, a real gentleman. The captain of the Geelong Soccer Club. They'll be in action this weekend against Westgate in Melbourne, and then Saturday week they return to Stead Park for a Saturday night blockbuster against Sydenham Park, the big Macedonian derby. We're going to take a short break, and when we return, we'll be speaking to a very, very dear guest, someone who we love having on the show. She's the president of the Bell Park Sports Club, ROSE PIRROTTINA. She'll be telling us all the latest as far as the process of replacing the departed Bell Park coach, Michael Spazewski. That will be up after this very, very short break. Don't go away, folks. It is the Geelong Region Soccer Show.
The world is yours. So work hard, and you can have whatever it is you want.
Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. We're nearly out of time for tonight, but before we do that, we've still got one more guest to come, and it's an absolute pleasure to welcome back to the show ROSE PIRROTTINA. Rose, good evening. How are you?
Hey, good, Tonchi. How are you?
I'm both very happy and very relieved to see you, because we thought for a moment that you weren't going to be able to make it tonight, but really, really, really appreciate you going to extreme lengths to be able to come on the show tonight. How you been? How's things been with you?
Yeah, it's been quite interesting. Look, as you all know, that we're going through a bit of a transition time after Michael decided to step down. And, you know, it's not easy. I'm not going to lie. It's we're at, you know, where we're sitting, and there's some tough times ahead. So we're in full swing and trying to, you know, try to get the support and the strategy behind it to get us through.
Yeah. Now he made it. I mean, speaking to him personally, it's such a noble act by him to sort of step down, hoping that he might create a little bit of, I guess, what's the kick up the backside for the players as well. And hopefully we'll see that, whether that is the case over the next few weeks. But yeah, look, it's a tough one. The team's in 11th position at the moment. An important game coming up this weekend, a really, really important game. If we look at the State League fixtures there, home game against Moonee Ponds United. That's 6th place Moonee Ponds United. It's a tough game, but look, it's one of those things when you replace a coach, the players seem to, for whatever reason, just go up a notch. Who's likely to, or have you got an interim solution for this weekend coming at least?
So what we're doing is I'll be able to announce it probably after tomorrow, Tonchi. So I do apologise that I can't probably announce what we've got in place. But do we have an interim? Yeah, we do. But what that is to be announced tomorrow. It's really important that we, the club, I suppose, foundation is as rock solid as ever, going through such a tough transition. And in fairness to Michael, he was there in the background to support. He wouldn't leave us in the lurch or put us in hard. So the club has gone into, you know, full swing in trying to work out what's the best and what's the I suppose the best next step for us. And in the interim, we're not going to you know, rush, but we are going to be looking for the right coach that will take us, you know, to the next level and beyond, and bring support to the group to strengthen what we already got. So we are looking for that person. We want to make sure that person is right, and also make sure that, you know, that they develop the young squad that we do have and encourage some of the experienced players to come on board as well. So it's going to be an interesting time for Bell Park. It's an exciting time for Bell Park, even though we are sitting 11th on the ladder. We're hoping that we don't sit there for long, but we are looking for that senior coach. We are looking for someone that's got the football passion, someone that has the experience and the knowledge, and is a true family club member, and that's really important to us. And we don't want to rush Punchy.
Yeah. Now, look, even though it might seem a bit dire, it isn't. Like, there's still 11 games to go, and if you're going to make a coaching change, this is, I guess, the time to do it. But on top of that, as you mentioned, a young squad, so there's a lot of potential there. But you've also probably got arguably the best facilities in Geelong. Brand new change rooms, a fantastic social club, great lights as well, grandstand, etc. So it is an exciting time, as you said. And I guess what any coach that will want to come there will have an opportunity to build something very, very special, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that's, you use the key word, is opportunity. There is so much opportunity where we're looking for that skilled person to come on board and really make a difference. And we're excited. And if anyone's out there that knows of anybody or is interested, please send your information to the seniors at bellparksportsclub.com.au, or my number's not hard to find, so they can contact me personally. But Tonchi, we have got great facilities, and we are a close-knit family club, and we would love to have somebody that can embrace that and take us to the next level.
Yeah, Pino Matza says it makes a good point. Bell Park has 9 of the remaining 11 games at home. Correct, yes, because of the change room development. So that's another positive, absolutely. Now, it's not all doom and gloom on the field, because if we have a look at the local side, we mentioned this, the men's Division 1 sitting on top of the competition standings, and the senior women's one as well, sitting on top of the competition standings. They're going to be in action, by the way, straight after the senior men's on Saturday. And I love that trend. It's more and more happening across the region. Senior women's are playing after the senior men's, and in that way ensuring there is a really, really good crowd. But that's great to see. Now, a lot of those, if we turn attention to the men's, a lot of those are the veterans who won the Masters League in the pre-season. Could some of them be enticed to pull on the boots for the Saturday boys?
Well, let me tell you, that's not my decision.
There couldn't be a few sweeteners there, as far as a couple of grappas after the game or something like that in the beautiful change club rooms there. No.
I'll let the coaches or the coach or whoever it is to be across the board make those decisions. I think that's why we put them in these positions, so they can make the best decision for us. But yeah, whatever the board of directors and myself are supporting, the transition.
Yeah.
And we're welcoming the change. And we're actually really, like I said, even though we are at the 11th, we are excited to what's coming at Bell Park.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, all jokes aside, I think it is an exciting period, that's for sure. We've seen a lot of talented youngsters coming up through the ranks at all the clubs around Geelong, both male and female. A lot of them making being selected for state representation. Some of them making their debuts at the age of 15, 16, etc. So there certainly is a pool of talent there, that's for sure. It's now just harnessing that. But if we turn our attention to the women, they're doing really well locally. At the moment, top of the table. How, as president of the club, how have you seen from the local perspective, the local league's perspective, the grading system? It seems to have really, in the end, worked out quite well. But your senior women's team is dominating proceedings here in the local comp.
Yeah, and they've worked really hard for that, Tonchi. That just hasn't come overnight. Mark Salter is doing an amazing job there. And he's got an assistant beside him also with Enzio and Nicole, who brings a lot of experience as well to the table. So there is a great team of people, and I'm never going to forget the team manager, Rachel, because team managers, they organise the whole lot. So there's a really great team of people behind the success of these women, but more importantly, we've got a dedicated group that is so passionate, and and don't miss a training. They're so dedicated and committed that it's actually heartwarming to watch. And look, I went and watched the game on the weekend with them, and just the energy that was on that field, I know Deakin lost, but great game that Deakin put on as well. But, our girls, the spirit was there. It was just magical to watch.
Yeah, fantastic. And how? I mean, we've spoken about this earlier this year when you were on the show, like the incredible increase in registrations across the board, and Bell Park was certainly no exception. How are you coping with all the increased numbers of players at your club, the new coaches that are coming along as well? Has that translated into a lot of new families getting involved, volunteers, etc.? What's the state of affairs at the halfway mark of the season?
Well, it's funny you should mention this, because tonight, the reason why I thought it was touch and go, I was in a strategy meeting, which we're all starting to discuss, 2025. We've got a problem where we're increasing numbers, but we don't have the field.
Yep.
So the field's to cater,
Yes.
And this is where we want to increase the membership. We want to increase the participation, but we don't have the fields to cater for this. So this is the thing that we're working through at the moment. We have seen, look, after COVID, I think everybody had a hit in the numbers, but I can honestly say that this year they're getting there again.
Yes.
We are close to what it was before COVID.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah. And now it's catering for that. I mean, on last week's show, I took a look at one of the front pages. I think it might have been the Geelong Indie, or it might have been the Geelong Times, where a lot of the other sports as well, like it's not just soccer that's now struggling with it, football, but AFL, basketball, now their bodies are now pushing for more courts, for more fields, etc. So if that's the case with other sports, we're now up against a lot of competition from a lot other sports and other codes. So we really, really need to up our game as far as lobbying the various political powers to be. Isn't that the case?
Oh, absolutely, Tonchi, because kids usually can only play 1 to 2. The affordability of playing 2 to 3 sports is gone.
Yep.
Because of our at the moment our climate and the way that we just. The struggles of families, and we're out there. So Bell Park is trying to keep their fees down, thanks to the junior committee, Angelo and Rocky out there. They're trying to really keep a cap on these so it's affordable. And that's why we're trying to keep our sport attractive, because we want to make sure that we can be affordable and not have our fees too high. Because when you compare us to AFL, then we start going, well, the parents got AFL soccer, they've got to play double. We've got to look at all, and basketball's up and coming. Let me tell you, basketball has had a huge increase.
It has. And the thing is with basketball, especially now the weather it is, it's indoors. So it's away from the elements. And as the weather starts to get worse and worse, there's a lot of kids and a lot of parents that find that seems to be a better option. But hopefully we can keep all the kids that we manage to attract, all the players we manage to attract. But as you said, that's part of the strategy. And it's great to see clubs midway through the current season already starting to plan ahead for next year. But you have to be on the ball.
It's all about planning. Planning is the key.
Yeah. Rose, thank you so much for joining us. Wishing you all the very best. I guess it's a case of stay tuned for the next few days on all the social media channels from Bell Park Sports Club, because there will be announcements being made before this coming weekend.
Thank you so much, Tonchi, for your time once again.
Thank you, Rose Pirrottina, President of the Bell Park Sports Club. A big thank you to Rose. I know it was very difficult, not easy coming onto tonight's show, but she certainly moved heaven and earth to get on tonight's program. So we really appreciate it. We're going to take a very short break. When we return, it'll be time to wind up tonight's show. folks, brings us to the end of yet another episode of the Geelong Region Soccer Show. A big shout out to our major sponsor, the Gordon. Without the Gordon, we would not have come out this year, simply put. And to our business advertisers, Curva Coaching and Highland Turf Sales as well. On next week's show, we hope to travel up down the highway, I guess, the Colac Freeway, and we're going to be catching up with a legend of local football, Eddie Doris, who used to coach at Bull Park, by the way. And he now is involved with the Colac Otway Rovers. And earlier tonight, they launched something historical, their first ever women's program, a female football program. And it is the first step in eventually fielding a senior women's team at Colac Otway Rovers. So we'll be catching up, hopefully, with Eddie next week to talk about that and to also talk about the Colac Otway Rovers and how he's finding his return to local football now that he's moved down those neck of the woods. But that's on next week, next Monday night, and we sincerely hope that you'll be able to join us next Monday night on the Geelong Region Soccer Show for what will be our 17th episode this year. Can't believe the year's flying by. Folks, on that note, good night and have a fantastic week. Good night.